shocks that I am experiencing right now as European in the US, and specifically as a Dutch person in the US, Texas, to be more specific. So, first of all, everything seems so much bigger, of course, and the roads, for example, are so much bigger, and they're like lighter in color than in the Netherlands, and they're just a lot more bumpy and beaten up, and that's really made me appreciate like the overall infrastructure and the roads specifically in the Netherlands a lot more, because now that I have a different perspective, I'm realizing how good the roads back home actually are. And yeah, like I said, the whole infrastructure is completely different. How there are like almost no bike lanes here. There are kind of bike lanes, but it's more like sidewalks, and I wouldn't really call them bike lanes. But yeah, you can bike on them, but it's completely different than in the Netherlands. How like you can bike anywhere, and we have well paved like biking lanes, especially to just bike on and not just sidewalks. And yeah, how the bike lanes will be so like wide as well in certain areas. And here it's like you bike on the sidewalk, and sometimes the sidewalk just ends out of nowhere, and you're like, okay, what do I do now? So it's just really car focused, and that's another thing that maybe because it's so car focused, you also really don't see that many people outside. And I would say that is maybe the biggest culture shock so far that I've experienced, especially the first time I was here. That was 2 years ago. I came here to see my boyfriend because we were in a long distance relationship since he is from America, or the US, Texas. And yeah, so I was visiting him, and the first time I got here, this is my second time being here with him this time, but that's besides the point. The first time I got here, I was so shocked. I didn't even really know how to explain the feeling at the time, but as we were like driving home to or from the airport, I was so shocked to find that there were like no people outside and walking like on the streets or on the sidewalk, and there's like no people biking. So, and then we got to the neighborhood, and I also didn't see anyone outside, so I was really having this zombie apocalypse feeling. Like, I was so confused where all the people were. It really felt like a zombie apocalypse happened, but there were just no zombies and everything still looked undestroyed. But yeah, that still to this day, I'm like so confused, and like it's almost unsettling to me, because in the Netherlands you see like, I wouldn't say like in where I live at least, it's like a smaller, officially it's a city, but I call it more like a town-ish. It's town it's not like there's like it's like busy or something, but there's always like people outside and always people biking and walking. And so when I got here and now I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And that's another point that I wanted to make is it feels almost kind of soulless in a way. Because you don't see people outside, I guess because they're just getting in their car from their home and then going to their destination, and then they're probably inside as well. So, yeah, I guess maybe that's why you don't really see people outside, but because of the lack of people, it feels soulless, and I don't want to be like mean or rude, but I'm just trying to convey my culture shocks. So yeah, even when you go to like a small park in a neighborhood here, there's not that many people, and in the Netherlands, I feel like there's always like families and people with their children who are playing, or children playing themselves. Hold on, my camera is about to die. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, I think I was saying that, yeah, there's just less people, and that's why it feels like soulless, and it's a lot less lively for sure here compared to the Netherlands. And yeah, that's one of the biggest culture shocks I've had so far. And I think maybe that also contributes to feeling less safe in a way. And also the fact that there's not really that much lighting, so when it gets dark here, it's like super dark, and especially for like pedestrians, I don't really see that much lighting, and even for cars, there's like on some roads, like a lot of roads, there's just no lighting, or like really not enough lighting. And yeah, that's something you never really think about. At least I didn't when I was in the Netherlands, that we have good lighting, and yeah, every few feet, or I don't know how much that would be, but there's just, yeah, enough lighting, and for pedestrians as well, and I think that's also why it feels safer. And yeah, here I wouldn't really go out to walk at night. And in the Netherlands, I've done many times. I've done so many times, and I've biked in the dark many times, and it's really not something to be like paranoid about. And I feel like here I would be more paranoid. And one more thing I wanted to say about the biking is it feels like almost illegal to bike here, because in the Netherlands you're not supposed to bike on the sidewalks, and here that's like all you have. So it feels really dangerous and almost illegal. Yeah, so I thought that was quite interesting when I felt that. And another point I wanted to make is how it seems like the US is less environmentally conscious or friendly. For example, we have, like in the Netherlands, we have different recycling bins, and like we have a plastic bag that you put all your plastic in, and then we separate the cartons glass, and here it all goes in the same bin, which to me feels also like so weird to do that, because my mom, whenever I think something like either has to go in a plastic bag and it shouldn't, or when I throw something in the normal trash and it shouldn't go in the plastic, she's like, oh, it has to go in that bag. So it feels really unnatural for me to just put everything, all the glass and carton and plastic and just all of that in the same bin, and then they do separate the recyclables from the regular trash, which is like food and stuff, I guess. But it still almost feels like there's no recycling, because all of those different things get thrown in the same bin. And also there's like an electricity plan that allows you to, I guess, save money on your electricity if you use a certain amount of it at night. So then that stimulates people to just leave the lights on and stuff at night, so that eventually they'll save money. But then people will use up more electricity than they actually would. Some of them at least. Maybe for some it works. If you're, I don't know, are a night owl or something and you're up anyways. But yeah, I feel like in a lot of cases that would stimulate people to just use more electricity. And it feels really contradictory to the Netherlands, where we're trying to have all these different measurements or regulations or whatever you call it in place to be more friendly to the environment. And it feels almost like, why is this tiny country trying to do all of this? Which I'm not saying they shouldn't, and I'm glad they do. But it's like we're like this chickpea country trying to do all of this, and meanwhile the US is not really helping. So that's just another culture shock to me. It's like such a big country, and it would make such a bigger difference. To have some regulations here. And then another thing is how convenient everything here seems to be. Like, oh, there's like a drive-through pharmacy. That was so surprising to me. I was like, what? A drive-through? Like, why would you even need a drive-through pharmacy? You can just go inside. But I mean, I guess it's useful because at some point there weren't drive-thrus for fast food chains, and now there are, and it's really convenient. So, I mean, but that was just so surprising to me to have a drive-thru pharmacy. And then just like Target and Walmart and how big they are, and how you can buy like canoes and TVs and all of this non-food related stuff in the same place as where you are selling food, so like a grocery store. And I guess they're not just grocery stores, but it's so crazy to me that you can buy food and TVs and canoes and fishing rods, I think that's what you call them, and all of this stuff at the same place. We would have so many different stores for that. And also how there's like a fast food restaurant inside of the store, which is mind-blowing to me. I was so confused. And how you can like how many like different food options there are, and within that, how many brands of one thing there are, like how many cereal brands. And I guess that makes sense because they're just different cereals, but also how many like different brands of peanut butter and stuff. Like so many brands, so many different variations. And yeah, that just stood out to me, and how big the aisles are. And some things taste different, so like the bread tastes a lot different here than in the Netherlands. I feel like here it tastes sweet. Like, yeah, they put some sugar in there. And it tastes, it's like softer or something. I don't know. It's, the texture seems different. Like in the Netherlands, I feel like I said that so many times in this video. In the Netherlands, but yeah, back home we like the bread feels more organic for sure than it does here. And then, for example, the grapes are a lot bigger here, and maybe they taste even better than in the Netherlands. But it's like, is it really good for you though? I don't know. But I think I will leave it at that for this video. I probably have more to say, but those are the most important things that I can think of right now. So I hope you liked this video, and you maybe also could relax a little bit, and I'll see you in my next video very, very soon. Bye, 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 bye. Before you go, just a little reminder that I now offer custom ASMR videos just for you. You get to choose exactly how you want the video to be. The triggers, the length, slow or fast paced, and whispered, soft spoken, or no talking, and even more. It's all up to you. You can find all the information down below, and I'd love to create something special